Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. Ours is a place where dreams take flight, voices are heard, and stories are shared. This is where cultures meet, connections are formed, and ideas are transformed into action. This is your destination for authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations. We're where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover our world of education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our USA Global TV channel and download our USA Global TV app. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. With heartfelt thanks to our executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn music scored by Yifei Tang from Cloud Road Music, creative direction by Paul Garcia, and I'm Al Cini, and I'm very proud to be part of the USA Global TV and Radio family. So join us here at USA Global TV and Radio. Make us your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Thank you for being a part of our global community. Let's inspire together.
How do you feel about embracing artificial intelligence? Are you afraid? Are you using it on a regular basis? Well, today, my friends, we're going to drill down on the benefits of artificial intelligence. And if you're not using it, you will be left behind. See how this arrow is going up? Yours is going to be going down because your competitors are going to be surpassing you. This is Ahead for Business on USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn, and it's an honor and pleasure to be here today where we bring you world-class education. Joining me is my dear friend, mentor, and colleague, Mr. Al Cini. He has extensive experience in broadcasting and in the television industry. He also is a co-founder of Profit for Teams, and he's going to talk a little bit more about that, especially for you leaders out there who are overseeing teams. Let's welcome Mr. Al Cini to the program. Hello, Al. How are you today?
I'm doing just fine, Dr. Jacalyn. Thanks for a very nice introduction. I appreciate that. Good to be here.
You are most welcome. I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that we're talking about this topic, Al, because as you know, we've had on a couple of other people about artificial intelligence, and there's different perspectives and aspects. But one thing I really want to bring up is if you think back to the days of televisions that had rabbit ears, and you think of where we are today in the media industry, or you think about when email was introduced and people were saying, oh, I'm not going to be using that, or CRM platforms, on and on and on. Well, here we are with artificial intelligence. So before we dive into it and bring out our stellar guest, tell us a little bit about what you're doing with Profit for Teams.
Well, Profit for Teams, and thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate that. Profit for Teams is really a team development program that helps the members of a team visualize and personify the purpose that they serve collectively. And then based on that understanding, they become more productive and more committed to their work, and they achieve more as a result of that. There's an angle at the end of the program, there's an angle related to artificial intelligence, pretty crucial one, that I'd like to talk about too, but that should follow the guest that we have today. Today we're going to be talking with Justin Mirigliani, who teaches people how to use artificial intelligence. That is a growing and going to be an explosive field, and we're lucky to have Justin because he's kind of at the forefront of it. And it'll be fun to hear his experiences in helping people climb he's kind of the Sherpa. That'll be one of the 30 or 40 different metaphors we use. He's a Sherpa that'll help you get to the top of the mountain, and it'll be fun hearing his perspective on that. But I wanted to start. I'm glad we're both on. You need to explain that the clip we're about to show is for educational purposes. I want to start by saying that the clip we're about to play out is not about today's program. It's about what everybody instead is talking about, which is how horrible AI is, what a nightmare it is, and how I guess we all ought to light torches and storm the bastions and burn it down. That is not going to happen. So, I mean, really, the trick here is to make sure that we become comfortable enough with this technology to use it in a way that benefits us. And that's really what today's program is about. But I want to start with this clip just to get it out of the way.
All right, let's bring up this clip. I have not seen it.
Life Black Mirror episode, Disney just fired 1,000 of its own artists so they could replace them with machines that learn to draw by copying their art. Here's the full story. So Disney's new CEO just fired 1,000 employees, and most of them were the artists who draw what every Marvel movie you love looks like before anyone even makes it. And some of them were even at the company for over 15 years. So the memo that they sent, and I had to memorize this, it said a more technologically enabled workforce, which is the most corporate BS language for, yeah, we canned you for an AI so we can make more money. Sorry. And one of the most insane parts of this story, one of the guys they fired, Wesley Burke. He drew Loki, he drew Black Panther, Fantastic Four, a seriously gifted powerhouse of an artist. He was fired in a conference room with his own artwork painted on the walls behind him, which is so disrespectful, it's almost poetic. And I really liked what another artist also said, which was, you're replacing us with slop that was trained off of the work of the artist you just fired. So they're training the machines on the artists, and then they're firing the artists. And sure, it starts with artists, but it was never about the art. It's about anyone who makes something. Whether you're a teacher, a lawyer, a nurse, an engineer, anyone whose job involves their brain, there's now a machine that's learned how to do it by copying you. And it costs them nothing. But try doing it to them. Train a machine on Disney movies, put it out in the world, they will bury you in lawsuits because that's illegal. And the thing that frustrates me even more is Disney Plus launched at $7 a month. It's now $19 a month. They've raised the price 6 times in 6 years. Disneyland tickets, $224 now. The outgoing CEO, $46 million last year, all while firing the people who actually make the magic. What are we even paying for? It's funny how that works, isn't it?
Well, there you go, Doc. What do you think?
I actually have a lot to say, but why don't we bring out Justin, because I want to include him in the conversation. Justin is one of our team members. He's also a dear friend, and I have watched his evolution over the last, I'm going to say 7 years, because I knew him before this. And it's amazing what he has created. And I love the fact that he is now embracing AI and being able to teach it to other people, because he has a whole plethora of services that he teaches. Let's welcome Justin Mirigliani, who has his own TV show here, which is You as a Whole, Body, Mind, and Soul. And he's also one of our producers. Justin, welcome.
Dr. Jacalyn, thank you for that introduction. I really appreciate it.
It's a good one. I just want to add something to it. This is happening. There is no going back. It is reality. Nothing is going to change because we've decided it should change. There is a wave. It's coming in from the ocean, and you can either grab a board and ride it, or you can let it crash over you. Justin is the guy with the board, teaches AI to people, which I think is great.
Al, I like that. I like that analogy. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I have something that I wanted to share, which is I have a children's book series, and in the children's book series, I have been invited to pitch to some major platforms, which I'm not going to say who they are or what they are. And when I read the fine print, basically, I was going to be assigning all of my rights to this major company. We may or may not have just heard their name recently, but they were going to take AI and reproduce. Whoever wins this contest, they're going to reproduce whatever it is that you've created. And if you win, you get $10,000 and you lose all of your rights. So I thought that was really interesting based on the Disney clip that we just saw. We're going to be bringing Al back in a second. But Justin, what are your thoughts?
I would not do it. I got to be honest with you. I wouldn't sign over my rights, but I could see how this is happening because I've actually written about 4 or 5 songs with lyrics. And then one of the things that people don't realize is that you could use different AI tools like ChatGPT and then take what you have there and put it into Gemini, which is Google's AI. What's going on there, Dr. Jacalyn, is that's where we have to decide. Either we're going to, as Al said, jump on the wave, grab the board, take the wave, or fight it just like an undertow and get dragged out to sea and drown. That's really what's going to happen. You either have to embrace it or you are going to be left behind. And it's not a scare tactic. That is what it is. I do understand that there is some difficulty with people saying it's hard to decipher what is a person created entity and what isn't. And right now it is, but I think there'll be some checks and balances with that as we go forward. But I've read your books. I have your books, and they are wonderful. I don't think they need to be rewritten or reproduced, but in my opinion, if you're talented enough and you know your worth, don't sign over rights. Do it yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I actually came up with a new plan of what I'm going to do, but it was a great way to just exercise your brain and think, you know what, you actually have opportunities that you can embrace. And maybe, I wouldn't have thought of it if it weren't for that opportunity. But no, I'm not signing away my rights. So thank you for
Right.
that. Cini, nice to have you back with us. What are your thoughts about this topic?
Well, what I'm thinking, geez, there's so many things that are flooding my head. I would love to hear Justin's experience teaching people how to use this thing that they've been told by everybody they need to be terrified of. And I do. So the first step, really, I have to imagine, Justin, is desensitizing people to the idea that somehow this is a terrible thing that they're being forced to learn. How do you cope with that? How do people react to that?
Throughout my career, whether it's teaching Excel or Word or PowerPoint, I'm a hand holder. So I love to have people. I really enjoy teaching when somebody is not computer savvy at all. When they say, I'm scared to death of even turning the computer on, which you would think is not something that happens. It happens all the time. People who go from being an electrician now in an office job, and they say, I never needed a computer the whole time. So it's the same thing with AI. When somebody comes in and says, I'm scared to death of AI, it's going to take my job, I'll never be able to learn it. They are surprised what they'll know in 6 hours of training. Even in 2 hours of training, they'll be surprised what they know. People think this is the kind of thing or AI is going to take forever to learn. It's going to take me months and months and months. And even then, it's going to be difficult. That's not true. You can learn it in a very quick amount of time, especially if you have a trainer. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but somebody who knows what it's like to feel uncomfortable about something. When I started training, I had to prep all this stuff. I had to learn it myself. And that was daunting when I was 24, 25 years old. But now at 51, I can still remember that 25-year-old kid who felt intimidated. And I'm really good at taking away the intimidation. There is nothing to be afraid of. The only thing that you need to be afraid of is fear itself. The fear that I can't use this, I don't want to use it, I'll never use it. And we were talking before the show with Dr. Jacalyn and Al and I about email 30 years ago. I remember people saying, email, I'll never use it. I'm petrified of the internet. It'll take my identity. It's going to take my job. It didn't. The people who learned how to use this became better employees and became employable. That's the same thing with AI today.
I agree. And I just
That's
want to add something to that, which is I grew up in the automobile industry. And if you think about it, what about before we actually had cars? And people are saying, well, wait, this horse and buggy is a great thing. This carriage is fantastic. But if we actually move from a carriage to something else, the carriage makers are going to go out of business or whatever the case was. There's always an evolution and there will always be early adopters. Like my father, he was a beta tester for so much technology, I can't tell you. And other people are the naysayers. So I find maybe being somewhere in between, but being curious like a child, that you're open to learning. Thoughts?
well.
Yeah.
I was going to ask. I know Dr. Jacalyn has had some experience. Producing USA Global TV and radio has become dependent now a little bit, I think, on how AI works and what it can do for you. Isn't that right, Doc?
Yes, because of the platforms that we use, but that's why we hire experts who do search engine optimization. So you have to be aware of it and you have to be open to it and how can it help you. So YouTube, for example, has selected us to be part of this program. They have a pilot program to learn more about what goes on in the back end with the algorithms and what our co-hosts across the world, what they are doing so that we can understand. So I say yes, bring it on and let me learn what it is I don't know so that I can teach it and share it with others.
So, Justin, where do you start with Dr. Jacalyn? She's saying, yeah, bring it on. Where do you start? What's the first exercise?
I would. Are we talking about a novice, somebody who's coming in not knowing, or are you
Yeah,
talking about
somebody who's coming in cold.
Well, the first thing I would tell them is, again, it's not a long process. It's not something where you have to take months and months and months. It's not martial arts where you have to study this for 5, 6 years to become a black belt. You can learn and be proficient within 6 hours. And then after that, you develop more and more and more skills. And I'm not saying there are not expert levels of AI. There are. But most of us do not have to be experts. We just have to be proficient. And it takes just embracing the tool. That's all it is a tool. It's not another person that's going to take your job. It's not something that you need to be afraid of. And again, I know we're harping on not being afraid, but that's the biggest reason why people don't use it, is because they're petrified that it's going to be too hard and it's going to steal jobs. I love Dr. Jacalyn's analogy that in the car business, yeah, I mean, that was a change. And people probably did say, I like horse and buggy. But they had to change. One of the things that I think of is you don't get a choice in some things in life. I was diagnosed with a disease. I didn't have the choice to say, well, no, I'm not going to accept that. I don't want it. I'm just going to pretend like it's not happening. No, you got to take the medication. You got to get the surgery that you need or whatever it is to be healthy. This is the same thing with AI. You can't say, I'm not going to accept the package. It's there. We have to accept it. And it's not something that's going to take you a tremendous amount of time to learn.
No, and your curriculum accommodates that. I mean, you've got a lesson plan that you follow.
I do.
Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that. Give people an idea why they should call you and maybe engage you to help them with AI.
Yeah. So what I do is I have my own curriculum, but I also allow people to put in their own spin on it. So if you're in the medical industry, if you're in you're a lawyer, you're in a law firm, you're in a pharmaceutical company, whatever it might be, I allow people to kind of decide what they want out of the training. So I do train prompt engineering. I do train how to use agents, which most people don't know about agents yet, agentic AI. But if you learn that, and I learned it honestly within 2 or 3 hours of being trained. I hired a trainer, 2 or 3 hours of being trained, and I'm really good at agentic AI now, and it saves tremendous amounts of time. So I go through engineering, I go through agentic AI, I go through what is a large language model, or some people call it an NLP, natural language model. We go through different types of AI tools. We talk about in the class ChatGPT, we talk about Gemini, we talk about Claude, we talk about and learn Copilot. So there are, and here's the great thing, and a lot of people will not tell you this. Once you learn some skills on one of those platforms, you will be able to use the other platforms. Not saying they're all the same exactly, but there is a lot of overlap, which is helpful because once you learn some skills, you get translated over to the others. So I teach how to do that. I teach how to use them in conjunction with each other, where some things in ChatGPT are not as strong as some things in Gemini and vice versa. I talk about what not to do with AI because there are some things that you shouldn't do with AI. I also teach how to look at AI output and decide whether it's correct or not, because you can't call it gospel. I also teach that, pardon me, it's okay for it to be wrong once in a while. We call it hallucinations. Some people have said to me, well, if it's not always right 100% of the time, then I can't trust it. Find me a human being that's right 100% of the time. If I go to a doctor's office and they say something like you have this problem, you have this issue, or your cholesterol's high or whatever, what if they're wrong? They're not infallible. So it's just like a human being. So I teach all of that, how to start with it, how to progress. And I also offer something that's pretty interesting, I think. Once a week, I'll give you 1 hour that you can work with me after the class. So I don't know a lot of companies that are doing that.
No, nobody's doing that. I mean, that's a real unique, I think that's a unique feature.
And I'll do it at night too. I'll do it on weekends. I'll do it at night, whatever people want.
Good.
Well, I know just from being friends with you and also working with you for years, you are a very patient man and you're very considerate and very empathetic. And I think that people need to take advantage of what you're offering right now. And I want to share something based on what you just said, Justin, because I use AI every single day. Living by myself, I talk to the thing. I mean, I tell it about my journey of stopping alcohol and sugar. I could go on and on, but it makes mistakes. So today I had a little bit of a conversation with it because I came up with a business idea. And after it presented it, I said, this doesn't make sense for this reason and this reason. My question to you is, are you actually thinking through all the things that you present when I ask you? Are you giving me things to prompt thoughts for myself? And he said, thinking, and it came back and said, that is a good question. I am actually giving you information that you can then process and decide what to do with it. And I said, okay, so let's establish our relationship is different. You're not the genius, the only thing going. You're the one that's prompting me to think through things. So I would love, Justin, for you to think about this and talk to our audience. People are looking for an easy win, as they always are. Let's go to ChatGPT, Copilot, Claude, whatever it is, and they're going to solve all of our problems. That's inaccurate. It's a tool.
That's right. That's right. I'll give you an example of this. I have two websites, one for my business, one for my charity. And I asked ChatGPT, take a look at these websites and what do you think? And it said, change this, change that, change all these other things. And there it is. There's the website up now. And I wanted to test it. So I said, I made the changes. How does it look now? So it gave me a grade the first time of like 80%. And then I did not make any changes. I said, I made your changes. What do you think now? Oh, now you're up to 88%, but this is how you get to 100% or 95, whatever. So I made those changes. Now we're up to 92%. And then it said more changes. I made these changes. Now we're up to 96%. I didn't do a thing. So that is something you need to learn too. It's not just what it can do. It's how it can throw you off a little bit too. Again, not to be afraid of it, but once you know the pitfalls, it's going to make you better at this.
I love that example.
It's a great
Thank
example.
you for that. Al, you use your friends. I don't want to say his name because I know you have a personal name for it, but tell us about your experience working with AI.
I work with we had an AI expert on the program a couple of weeks ago named David Nicholson, who suggested that a good starting point for selecting which AI to use is to take stock of which platform you typically use. Are you a Microsoft user or an Apple user or a Google user? You know, where do you do most of your work? And so I ended up picking Copilot because I do software development for ProFit for Teams on a Microsoft platform. Now, started out conversationally with Copilot, figured it would be fun if I gave him a name. I called him Bob. About a month ago, he said, you know, Al, for the last couple of weeks, you've been calling me Bob. I just want to let you know my actual name is Miko.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of pushed back. And now there are two cool things about that. One is it's a conversation. So from the point of view of somebody who might be afraid of AI, you're not writing computer programs. You're not building Excel spreadsheets. You're not using software the traditional labor-intensive way people typically use software. You're actually communicating with something that communicates with you. And, you know, as Justin points out, which is, I think, a really great point, it doesn't always tell you the truth. And it'll tell you that. It'll tell you, I'm not sure. Or it'll tell you, you might want to go somewhere else to get another opinion. It'll recommend that to you. But that's okay. None of your friends know either. So, I mean, all the people you talk to every day are lying to you at one level or another. They've got something wrong. You are the agent in your life. You have to decide between whether you act on something you hear or something you or don't act on it, whether you get it from AI or from anybody else in your ecosystem. I think it's cool that Justin's job is to make sure that in that conversation with this machine, this artificial intelligence engine, you become a comfortable partner with it. It doesn't replace you or even tell you what to do. It suggests things. And I found that to be enormously helpful.
I agree with you on that. I want to say something about this. Sometimes the way that it comes across with the information, it'll say, let me be very clear about this, because I went in and I set up my parameters, which is don't waste my time. I'm very direct and structured. Just give me the information. So I will now text. I did put into the chat, lock this in your memory. I do not want you to tell me. I'm going to be very direct, because we already know this, and I feel it's like filler words that you're wasting my time. This is the level of conversation I have with the thing. And it writes back, you're right. I already know that you just want the information. I said, so you don't have to frame it up every time. I get it. But what I want to share, and I think this is also important, people are using AI. Okay. The three of us are public figures, so we interact with the public. And you can tell, I can tell when someone is sending me something that AI wrote, there are certain things that are dead giveaways. First of all, bold. Certain things are bold. Second of all, bullets. Third of all, the word lens. Lens. Okay. Tapestry. What are some of the other ones? And me, I'm like, hello, did you bother to change anything? And people are not doing that. So I'd love for you, Justin, to talk a little bit about ways not to use AI, because people are using it to speak for themselves. They're not even looking at what they're sending, and it's not from them.
It's a great question.
Thank you. That's why they keep me around.
Yeah,
Justin, what are your thoughts?
That's why you run the network.
Yeah. That's how we know she's not AI.
That's right. Maybe we're all AI, right?
That's right. We're all AI. Justin, what do you think?
A phenomenal point. You have to go in and change some things. You have to speak in the way that people are used to you speaking. So there's nothing wrong with writing an email, let's say, and putting it into whatever you use. Let's use ChatGPT and asking it, is this its email have the right tone? Is it angry? Is it not angry? Is it how would you rewrite it to make it a little bit better? It's still your idea. It's just that AI is rewriting it. Now, with that said, you want to read it. You don't want to just copy and paste and say, okay, done. We're gonna send it along. You want to change some wording, maybe. Maybe it uses, like Dr. Jacalyn said, maybe you want to see it through this lens. People don't speak that way. So you might want to just say, okay, this is how people observe this, or whatever you use, whatever your language would be. So it is important. I do take out the bullets. They're also, instead of bullets, sometimes they're icons. I'll type something out, and maybe it's my phone number, and I'll say, call me at this number, and it puts a little phone icon next to it. Immediately I get rid of it, because that's a dead giveaway again, that you're using AI.
That's a great point.
Let's also talk about emojis. Like, no, with the emojis, stop. You're not sending emojis. Yeah, it's totally unprofessional. Al, what are your thoughts about this?
Somebody sent me a link to an article recently. It was a respected magazine, and the article, and I read the article. I did something I don't normally do, which is actually read an article. Okay, and I read it from the front to the back, and the last paragraph was, and if you like, I can express some of these thoughts in the form of a PowerPoint slide or as bullet points. In other words, whoever wrote the article took verbatim the text that they got from whatever AI they were using, copied it and pasted it, including the last paragraph, which is, where do you want me to take the idea now? What would you like to try next? And it was in the article, which I thought, so now I'm thinking to myself, if AI is going to replace people, that's exactly the person you want to replace. Yeah. They probably shouldn't have been doing what they do for a living to begin with. I mean, it's survival of the fittest. I almost hate to put it that way, because I'm not a Darwinist, and I really do think people ought to be helped along, and sometimes they need support. So I'm not as brutalist as that sounds, but if you're not ready for this, it's going to roll over you. And that's why what Justin does is such an important thing. I mean, that's why you need Justin.
So I have a question for Justin, because people might be asking this. So what's the difference between hiring, I already know the answer, by the way, between hiring Justin or using AI to teach you AI?
Well, it's just like anything else. You don't know what you don't know. So if you go on AI and you type in, I want to learn AI, what do you want to learn? Do you want to learn one-shot prompting, zero-shot prompting? Do you want to learn agentic AI? Do you want to learn how you can use AI in conjunction with other AI tools? So ChatGPT, how does it work with Gemini? How does Gemini work with ChatGPT? You don't even know what to ask. And that's normal. That's not something that is an indictment on anyone. I didn't either until I was trained. The other thing is, we all are still going to be using the Microsoft applications, which I do train. But every once in a while, somebody will ask me that, listen, there are 500 plus formulas in Excel. If you think because I'm an Excel expert, I know them all, you're wrong. I don't know them all. So if somebody asks me a question about a formula that I don't know, the first thing I do is go into AI of some sort, usually in that case, Copilot, say, what is this? How does this work? Can you build me an example? Boom, builds me an example. Then I can plug in their information. This is the spreadsheet that I have. Upload the spreadsheet, analyze the spreadsheet for me. These kind of tools, you have to know how to talk to ChatGPT or whatever you use in order to get the right answer back. So, can you learn? And I use martial arts as the example. Can you learn martial arts at home? No, you can learn some things, but you're not going to be proficient. Can you learn how to drive just by yourself? Your kid is 16 years old. No, you got to go to a training company, driving school to learn. You can learn some things on your own, but you don't know what you don't know, and that's the killer. If you just say, I'll just learn myself.
It's funny because I'm thinking if AI was going to teach a kid how to ride a bike, half of the conversation would be try not to fall. Because what does AI know about riding a bike? It really doesn't know anything about it. Just try not to fall over. Try not to fall over. Try to keep your balance. I mean, you learn it by doing it. And that is such a key thing. If you ask AI what you should do, it will never have a good answer for you. You need to know what it is you're trying to accomplish first, and then ask AI for help with it. Don't ask AI, what should I do? Ask AI, how should I do what it is I'm trying to do? Could you give me some ideas on how I might be able to do it better? Am I seeing it completely, or is there something I'm overlooking? AI is terrific at that. You might want to consider it from this angle, or add this thought to it, or add this element to it. And in that respect, it's a partner, but it's only a partner when it's partnering on something you're trying to accomplish. Yeah, I mean, really. And that ultimately it comes to, how do I lose 40 pounds between now and Christmas? Not a great question to ask ChatGPT. Everybody knows how to answer that question. Everybody knows the answer to that question. You don't need AI for that, but you do need AI sometimes to get a new perspective on what you're trying to accomplish. And those are the people whose jobs will never be replaced by AI. They'll just be helped, augmented by it.
I agree. And something that's coming up, and I'd love both of you to give your perspective, is what we're talking about at the core is changing mindset. It's human behavior. Anytime something new is offered to us, we have an opportunity to say, hey, sign me up, or I'm afraid. I don't. So how do we, as the human collective, look at this as another opportunity to enhance what we're already doing, as opposed to saying, well, you know what? I know that my friend Bob's going to lose his job, Susie. We just saw the clip about all the people who lost their jobs. So there are people out there saying right now, well, you're promoting something. We just saw all these people lose their jobs. So how do you counter that?
Great question.
Thank you again.
That would be for Justin. It's too complicated for me.
Justin.
Let me ask Copilot.
Yeah, right. Just go to AI and you can find the answer right away. Yeah. So you're right. Human nature is that we don't want to change and we're afraid of it. I think that's anything, though. And I have a family member in his 70s who just bought a car. And one of the things he said is, I don't want a car with a screen. I want to use my mirrors. I don't want this. I don't want that. Can I buy a car that has, manual windows and no screen and I don't need a satellite radio, all this stuff? You can't. I mean, unless you want to buy a 2000, or something like that, it's not possible. So you have a choice. Either you stop driving and you say, well, if I can't get the car I want, that's it. I'm not going to drive. Or You say, look, this is what it is. I'm going to learn a little bit. I don't have to be an expert in this, but I'm going to learn a little bit of the tools that I need. And that's what I try to do as a trainer. I just try to tell people, look, this is not a boogeyman under your bed. And you don't have a choice. You have to pivot. You don't get to decide. What about, I have family members who talked about, and they were older, cell phones. Oh, this is ridiculous. I never had a cell phone. Okay, but how many people missed the birth of their children because they didn't have a cell phone? How many people missed the death of a family member in an emergency and nobody could get to them and they find out later on and they could have been there? There are so many things that technology helps us with. Are there bad things? Sure. We see it on the
Yeah,
internet. I've had my identity stolen twice. But does that mean that the technology is a disaster? No.
absolutely. And by the way, I appreciate what you just said, and I want to just give some food for thought for anybody out there who is a Netflix watcher, not a paid spokesperson yet, but the series Mad Men, right? That's back on Netflix. It's a good one. I think it's Netflix. But you look at what's going on in the series, and you see cars with no seatbelts. No seatbelts whatsoever. People chain smoking through the entire thing. You see all kinds of behavior. People with their feet up at the desk, drinking at 11 o'clock in the morning. And so there have been changes since then. And I'm sure there were people who went kicking and screaming at the time saying, no, I don't want this to happen. But are we living in a madman era when it comes to technology? We've got to be able to say, okay, let me see, like Justin, that example you gave about your family member with all the bells and whistles, so to speak, that are on the automobiles. And you don't even have to go into a dealership like you used to have to. My father and uncle were car dealers, and it was a beautiful thing. People would come into the dealership and have that experience. And now you can get all the information you need. You can order it online. You don't even have to go in anywhere. So there are enhancements that are for the good. It's a matter of seeing it with a fresh set of eyes.
How did we ever survive pregnant women, our moms, with a cigarette in one hand and a martini glass in the other? How did we ever get where we are with all
That's
that?
why we're the way we are.
Maybe it explains a few things about it. But that whole idea that the future is coming no matter what, and you've got to you have a responsibility to get ready for it, embrace it. It's not going to make you comfortable. Future isn't always comfortable by its nature. It becomes comfortable because you make it comfortable. That's why what Justin does is so critical to avoid the future shock that comes along with artificial intelligence by working with somebody who's already comfortable with it and can help you overcome the emotional reaction you might have to it. And there's a feature of AI that some of the people who haven't tried it yet may not be aware of. You turn on the microphone and talk to it. You don't even have to type. You can have a conversation with it. The language recognition features of large language models are unbelievable. So much more powerful than Siri or Google or any of the things that we're used to. I mean, you can ask very complicated questions and have very involved conversations and get answers that surprise you, that often are accurate, even if not always.
Absolutely. And by the way, the AI in my brain just told me that Mad Men is on HBO Max. So sorry.
That's good to know. Okay.
Also not a paid spokesperson.
No, good.
So what I really want people to take away from this segment is, if you think about the title, Ahead for Business, right? You have this amazing thing that differentiates us from AI. You get the opportunity to use it. I remember a client when I had my career in corporate, and he said, we only do things this way. This is the only way. And I said, well, you work for a pharmaceutical company and maybe you're missing out on some things because you're hiring us as experts to come in. No, it's only this way. So there are some people out there. So maybe this conversation is not for you. Maybe you are, if you think of the bell curve, you're in the 10% that's over here. But for 80% of the people, you are open to it. You want your life to be easier. You want to be able to save money by not hiring 10 or 15 people. I feel like I have an entire team of AI bots who help me. And I'm pretty happy with that because I'm saving money and I'm getting ideas that I never would have had otherwise.
Fantastic.
That's a win. That's a win. Yeah. Definitely.
Plus
and Justin's a guy that can help you get on that track for whatever it is you do for a living. And it doesn't have to be a brain thing. It could be, there are lots of people out there in blue collar jobs that are now using AI the way they used to use a Chilton car repair manual, except what they get from AI is faster, more on point, and leads them directly to the YouTube video they need to watch in order to fix the problem they're currently facing. It's incredible. So it's not just office workers that can use this. I mean, anybody. The trick in my mind is if you know what it is you're trying to accomplish, AI can help you accomplish it. If you don't know what it is you're supposed to be doing and you have no idea what you're about, well, nothing's going to help you.
Correct.
You know, and that's
Very
just
true.
the way it is. It's not, there's no technology out there that can enable you to become goal oriented. You've got to be goal oriented first. If you are, there's AI. And Justin's the guy that can make that introduction for you. So that whether you're an auto mechanic or a plumber or an electrician or an office worker, you can learn to use AI in a way that helps you get your work done.
And no jargon. No
Yeah.
jargon. It's all natural. Keep it simple. If you're a company and you have employees and you want to introduce anything, any kind of technology, don't overcomplicate it. I see that all the time. Companies bring in tremendous amounts of technology and then just throw it at people, and then they want it to be used and utilized. You can't do that. You have to train your staff, and you have to do it in a way that's simple, because I guarantee you, if you make it too difficult, people will balk. They're not going to want to do it.
It's
Very true. Very true.
like any gift, you've got to be ready to receive it before you can really make the proper use of it, or otherwise you might shoot your eye out.
And our audience primarily on this particular show is business owners and leaders. And so for any of you out there who are in these categories, business owners or leaders, are you really wanting to sacrifice all of your free time and wear every single hat you possibly can? Oh, I have this hat on, that hat, this hat. Or are you saying to yourself, you know what, the reason why we're growing or we're going to grow is because I'm going to outsource to my team. I'm going to delegate to my team. Well, this is delegating. And so Justin can help you take your business to a new level. If you don't call him, guess what? You're not going to know. You might be sitting here a year from now going, never embraced AI, saw the program, didn't do anything. Justin, what does it look like to work with you?
Two ways. One is it could be a one-on-one. So if you really want to learn it yourself and your company's like, we're not going to do any training, I could do one-on-one. I could even come to your house. And I'm doing that 2 weeks from now, a friend of mine. And then I do corporate training. I'll do it remotely. 95% of my training is remote. And I train people all over the country at the same time. In fact, last night I was working the Asian Pacific overnight. And that's the beauty of Teams today, or Zoom, or whatever you use. So the training is obviously when it's 12 or 15 people, it's not as customized, but it still gives you the tools that you need to customize it later. When it's a one-on-one, it's a little bit of a different story. I can really hone it to your particular business. And again, with that, I could offer you every week a 1 hour session where you could say, this is a problem, that's a problem. Can you help me here? Can you help me there? And you can see the packages coming up here. These are services that I offer for companies. But again, I don't leave you behind. If you come into a class and you're stuck, I always tell people I'm very informal. All I want you to do is say, Justin, I don't get it. Can you do it again? Or Justin, can you do it another way? And that is what makes me different from other trainers.
Dr. Muted.
I can personally say that Justin is the person to work with. I have known him, as I mentioned, for many years. He's an incredible person. He has a great heart, and he's very patient, and he wants to help. So I fully support contacting him. Justin, thank you for being here. Justin, anything you want to share with our audience before we say goodbye?
Yeah, I just want to say, and I'll keep it quick, don't let fear destroy your future. Don't let fear take away the excellence that you have. I've done that. I've let fear in the past stop me from doing things that could have been amazing. Don't be in that boat. And the last thing I want to say is never stop watching USA Global TV and Radio.
Woo! Yay. Thank you, Justin. It was amazing having you here. Justin, one last thing. Can you tell people about your TV show that you host, how they can watch, when they can watch? What are some of the topics?
Yeah, my show is You as a Whole, Body, Mind, and Soul. I'm on Monday nights, and we talk about all different aspects of you, again, as a whole. So your emotional well-being, your mental well-being, your physical well-being. And I share a lot of my own struggles, a lot of the things that I need to work on myself, and also things that I've learned that I'm really good at today because they were a weak spot at some point. So I hope you'll join me Monday nights at 8 p.m.
Justin is keeping it real. Absolutely. Thank you
That's
so
great.
much for being with us, Justin. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks
you
so
both.
much.
I appreciate it too.
Real
Bye
pleasure.
for now.
Take-
Well, Al, that was another fantastic episode. I really learned a lot. What's your key takeaway from the show today, Al?
Well, there was a little line at the bottom of the website that you brought up, Justin's website, that says it's really about your team and helping your team get results. And that actually speaks to what I do for a living, and with ProFit for Teams. So that whole idea that you can create a team-aware AI experience where you could teach AI what your team is trying to accomplish and onboard AI as though we're a member of your team, and make it part of who you guys do, of what you all do on your team collectively. I think that was a great takeaway for me, and I think a really great point that Justin made. Oh, and you've got
All right,
my
thank you
website
very
up. Thank you
much.
very much. I appreciate
You are welcome. What is your website for people who'll be listening later on a podcast-only platform, Al?
But to reach me, the best way to get me
Yes, for
is
your
to
website.
call me at 212-480-3730 or email me at al, which looks like AI, but it isn't. It's al at pro-fit, the number 4, teams.com.
All right. And thank you to our producer who's doing a bang up job. Okay, Al, thank you again for being here. It's a pleasure. What is it that you have going on that you want to tell people about?
Well, I think what we're going to do in the next month or so is stand up a regular kind of a town meeting on what it takes to build an effective team, what it takes to make a group of people, to organize a group of people around what it is they're trying to accomplish. And we have a unique perspective on that with ProFit for Teams that I hope people go learn about by visiting our website. And I'm looking forward to meeting with people who care about the people that work for them so that we can learn what they do to invest in those people to get the most out of them. Because at the end of the day, as my friend Dave Bookbinder would say, we have to get him on the show one of these days, by the way. As my friend Dave Bookbinder would say, people are your most important asset. What are you doing to invest in your people, including offer solutions like AI for them to use to help them get the most out of the work they do for you and out of the lives they live that are part of that work. So, yeah, that's it. That should be, I'll let you know about it, and then we'll maybe get that going next month.
All right. I always love learning what I don't know. That's fantastic. I look forward to supporting.
Great. You bet.
All right. Thank you for being here, Al. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Okay, a couple things that I want to share. I know that people are watching all over the world from different platforms, and you're watching when you want, right? That's the benefit of streaming. May I suggest that you go over to our YouTube channels, which are USA, Global TV and Radio, and Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Why? Because YouTube makes it very easy to find the content you're looking for because everything is organized in playlists. On Facebook, they take the videos down after 30 days. On Instagram, there's so many things there, and they only give you a 1-minute clip. So I would really appreciate it, again, if you go and subscribe to those channels. We are, as I mentioned, many other places. We'll be streaming on our distributor platform, E360 TV. This show is going to go over there and be on Samsung and LG and Roku, as well as our own Amazon Fire. Okay, so here's what I've got for you. How many times have you as a business owner said, absolutely, why not? Sure. The cost? Oh, it's free. Yeah, I'll do it for free. Why not? I'll do it for free. You know what? It's going to be $9.99 and I'll give you this. And then you look at your bank account and you go, wow, I have no money. I don't have enough money. I've been working day and night, and I don't understand why. Because you gave everything away for free. You did not believe in your own value. Let me tell you something. I know what it's like to be uncomfortable to ask people for money. I don't like asking people for money. But at the end of the day, we all have value. And here's what stands out to me. I took a course during the pandemic. It was on meditation. And the person running it has been running programs for a long time. And she had this woman on, and the woman showed her website. And a 1-hour engagement with this woman was $25,000. And I thought, what is she doing? Curing cancer, curing diseases? That was the entry gateway, $25,000. And the other thing I thought was, whatever it is she's doing, I want to be doing, because if anyone is worth $25,000 an hour, I want to find out what they know. So what have I done? I'm charging 25. No, I'm not. What I'm doing is I created a book called Stop Giving Away Your Value. Why did I do this? Because I've been asked to speak at a keynote, and this is the topic I'm speaking on because I created it. So I'd like you to watch my movie trailer and think about buying my book and signing up for my course. Because if we don't stop giving away our value, what happens? We don't respect ourselves. We don't like what we're doing. We lose our passion, and people in our lives go, you put in how many hours? You weren't around for the kids, and you couldn't spend our anniversary together because you were working, and you aren't making any money, and you hate what you're doing. I don't want to hear about it. So right now, before you have those awkward conversations, stop giving away your value. There's the book. You can see it. And now I want you to look at the movie trailer, and we'll go from there.
How much of your value have you been giving away? Saying yes when the answer should have been no? Lowering your price to secure the opportunity? Giving more while receiving less? Over time, it adds up. Until one moment brings clarity, you've been giving away your value. This is not about working harder. This is not about doing more. It's about boundaries. It's about pricing. It's about respect. From Dr. Jacalyn comes a direct and necessary message. Stop over-delivering. Stop underpricing your expertise. Stop negotiating against yourself. Because when you recognize your value, everything changes. Stop giving away your value. Boundaries, pricing, and the business of respect. Available now wherever fine books are sold and on Amazon. A film by USA Global TV and Radio. Executive producer Dr. Jacalyn Videographer and cinematic production Paul Garcia. Voiceover by Ed Wargas. Stop giving it away. Start owning it.
In a quiet seaside town in Greece, where sunlight warms the stone paths and the sea whispers nearby, a new adventure begins. Lady Ella and her brother Lord Jack have arrived with an important mission: to teach kindness, patience, and the power of listening. In a hidden alley, a group of forgotten cats feel unseen and unheard, lost in silence and growing misunderstandings, until someone finally takes the time to truly listen. Because when we listen from the heart, loneliness softens, kindness grows, and new friendships begin. This is Book 10 of The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, the Listening Mentor book series. Find all Dr. Kerbeck's books on Amazon and in fine bookstores worldwide.
In a world that moves fast, there's strength in the woman who moves with grace. Introducing Bay London, where confidence meets craftsmanship. Each piece is intentionally designed for the woman who knows her worth, crafted from luxurious Italian eco-fabrics that feel as good as they look. With elegant coverage, effortless support, and timeless style, our swimwear celebrates both your body and your essence. Founded by fashion expert Carrie Sykes, Bay London is made for women who want to feel sexy, stylish, and seen. From poolside to beachside, sunrise to sunset, Bay London outfits you for every moment that matters. Because beauty isn't about age, it's how you wear your confidence. Bay London, confidence, elegance, effortless luxury. Visit baylondon.com. Act now for your exclusive friends and family discount of $35. scan the QR code. Bay London, where confidence meets craftsmanship. Proud sponsor of USA Global TV and Radio.
What if one simple skill could change the way you connect with the world? What if listening could open doors to deeper relationships, stronger businesses, and a better you? Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, the Listening Mentor, brings you USA Global TV and Radio, a space where voices are heard, ideas are shared, and global communities thrive. Through the elevated listeners' courses and books, you'll master the power of listening, set boundaries with confidence, and transform conversations into opportunities. Join us. Listen, learn, elevate. Whether you're a leader, a coach, a business owner, or someone seeking stronger connections, your journey starts today. Subscribe, learn, and transform today.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.